Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Philosophy of Life channel, where you can reflect, awaken, and connect with your true self. Today, we will listen to the Old Testament. Please enjoy and listen attentively. Part 1 to 5. God's creation, man's fall. God creates the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty. Darkness covered the abyss, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good. And he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light, day, and the darkness, night. There was an evening, and there was a morning, the first day. God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water." So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault, sky. There was an evening, and there was a morning, the second day. God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground, land, and the gathered waters, seas. And God saw that it was good. God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. There was an evening, and there was a morning, the third day. God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night. And let them serve as signs to mark sacred times, days, and years. Let them be lights in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth." And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. There was an evening, and there was a morning, the fourth day. God said, "Let the waters teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." So God created the great sea creatures and every living thing that moves in the waters, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." There was an evening, and there was a morning, the fifth day. God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals, each according to its kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground." Then God said, "I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds in the sky and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. There was an evening, and there was a morning, the sixth day. 2. Thus, the heavens and the earth, along with all their elements, were completed. On the seventh day, God finished the work he had done. After completing all his work, on the seventh day, God rested. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it because on that day, he rested from all his creative work. This is the origin of the heavens and the earth when they were created. The Garden of Eden, the test. On the day the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, no shrubs or wild plants had yet appeared on the ground, and no grass had grown in the fields because the Lord God had not yet sent rain upon the earth. And there was no one to cultivate the land. But a stream rose from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and man became a living being. Then the Lord God planted a garden in Eden, in the east, and placed there the man he had formed. The Lord God made all kinds of trees grow from the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food, with the tree of life in the middle of the garden and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed from Eden to water the garden, and from there, it divided into 4 branches. The name of the first river is Pishon. It winds through the entire land of Havilah. Where there is gold, the gold of that land is good. There is also aromatic resin and onyx stone. The name of the second river is Gihon. It winds through the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is Tigris. It runs along the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, "You may eat freely from any tree in the garden, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you must not eat, for on the day you eat from it, you will surely die." The Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." The Lord God formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds of the sky and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. Whatever the man called each living creature, that would be its name. The man gave names to all the livestock, the birds of the sky, and all the wild animals. But for the man, no suitable helper was found. So the Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And while he slept, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man and brought her to him. The man said, "This time, this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united with his wife, and they become one flesh. The man and his wife were both naked, yet they felt no shame before each other. 3. The fall. The serpent was the most cunning of all the wild creatures that the Lord God had made. It said to the woman, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" The woman answered the serpent, "We may eat the fruit of the trees in the garden, but about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, 'You must not eat it or even touch it, or you will die.'" The serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die. For God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like gods, knowing good and evil." The woman saw that the fruit was good for food, pleasing to the eye, and desirable for gaining wisdom. So she took some of it and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Hearing the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, the man and his wife hid among the trees to avoid facing the Lord God. The Lord God called to the man and asked, "Where are you?" The man replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." The Lord God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, "The woman you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit, and I ate it." The Lord God asked the woman, "What have you done?" The woman replied, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and all wild animals. You will crawl on your belly, and eat dust all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To the woman, God said, "I will greatly increase your pains in childbearing. With pain, you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." To the man, God said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree, which I commanded you not to eat from, cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food, until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." The man named his wife Eve, because she would become the mother of all the living. The Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. Then the Lord God said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. After driving him out, He placed cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way to the tree of life. 4. Cain and Abel. The man was intimate with his wife, Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man." Later, she gave birth to his brother, Abel. Abel became a shepherd, while Cain worked the soil. After some time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord. Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. The Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but he did not look with favor on Cain and his offering. So Cain was very angry, and his face was downcast. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry? Why is your face downcast? If you do what is right, will you not be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at your door, it desires to have you. But you must rule over it." Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let's go out to the field." While they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" Cain replied, "I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?" The Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is more than I can bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your presence. I will be a restless wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." But the Lord said to him, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain went out from the Lord's presence and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. The descendants of Cain. Cain was intimate with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to Enoch. Cain then built a city and named it after his son, Enoch. Enoch had a son named Arad. Arad was the father of Mehujael. Mehujael was the father of Methushael, and Methushael was the father of Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives, one named Adah and the other Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal, who was the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play stringed instruments and pipes. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, "Listen to me, wives of Lamech, hear my words. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for injuring me. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. Seth and his descendants. Adam was once again intimate with his wife, and she gave birth to a son and named him Seth, saying, God has granted me another child in place of Abel. Since Cain killed him, Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. 5. The patriarchs before the flood. This is the genealogy of Adam, on the day God created man. He made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, blessed them, and named them, man, on the day they were created. When Adam was 130 years old, he had a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. When Seth was 105 years old, he had a son named Enosh. After Enosh was born, Seth lived 807 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Seth lived 912 years, and then he died. When Enosh was 90 years old, he had a son named Kenan. After Kenan was born, Enosh lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Enosh lived 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan was 70 years old, he had a son named Mahalalel. After Mahalalel was born, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Kenan lived 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel was 65 years old, he had a son named Jared. After Jared was born, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Mahalalel lived 895 years, and then he died. When Jared was 162 years old, he had a son named Enoch. After Enoch was born, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Jared lived 962 years. And then he died. When Enoch was 65 years old, he had a son named Methuselah. After Methuselah was born, Enoch walked with God for 300 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Enoch lived 365 years. Then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah was 187 years old, he had a son named Lamech. After Lamech was born, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Methuselah lived 969 years. And then he died. When Lamech was 182 years old, he had a son. He named him Noah, saying, "This child will bring us comfort in our labor and toil from the ground that the Lord has cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. In total, Lamech lived 777 years. And then he died. When Noah was 500 years old, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Thank you everyone listened.